Alright, Ninja, so today we are finally jumping into the Nightmare Guild Quest. In this case, we are now up against Quincy's. We have to bring mini characters, and the team you are seeing on your screen is the team that I'm using to personally beat this quite difficult quest. If we have a look at the top 5 characters people are bringing, I would say any of the top 5 characters here are going to be characters you want to bring as your leads. I'm honestly not entirely sure how most of them would work as mains. I've really only tested with Lisa and also Ichin. But of course, to no one's surprise, Ichin is going to be the most used character here. He is the best character for this Guild Quest, and if you have him, you're pretty much guaranteed to beat it. As for the other characters, Yamamoto, Ichibei, Lisa, and even Noritora, it really depends on the other characters you are bringing, whether you can beat or not, because they are good to have, they are good leads, but they definitely do need that extra bit of support that honestly Ichin doesn't really need. Having a look at the most auto-played characters, we can see here that people of course are using the standard, right? Shuei is unironically the most used character here. That's really cool to see. He's a really good team buffer for someone like Ichin, giving him 20% more strong attack damage and then 40% more damage to any enemy that is inflicted with his status element. Maid Orihime is here for your team support, your boost and barrier. Yamamoto is serving as a secondary DPS character. Likewise, the same can be said for someone like Lisa. Lisa also does pair well with Shuhei and even of course the new Ichin. In a way, one of your cheat codes for this Guild Quest phase is going to be the Fierce Battle Grimmjow. He's only 5th place right now, which is understandable, given that he's a somewhat newer character, a mid-month character, a character that most people, including myself, did of course skip. Lucky for us that he is a premium character. You might pull him from your summon tickets, you might get him sometime in the future when he is a filler, but he's not worth it here, given that he's the only normal attack damage character that we can use in this particular phase. So one of the ways to make this quest significantly easier is one, own Ichin, or own someone like Grimmjow, because Grimmjow opens up the door for him to be, doing consistent damage, and that consistent damage output alongside someone like Ichibei, Lisa, Noritora, Yamamoto, with a team booster like, for example, Maid Orihime, is definitely, hopefully, enough to get you through this quest, at least on the Nightmare difficulty. Most of these characters can be used in very hard, shouldn't be much of a struggle, but for today's video, for this team in particular, this is what I'm using, and this team that I did manage to beat this quest with. So to no one's surprise, Ichibei is going to be a really good character here. You're going to see in the gameplay, even though he is only spectrum level 1, his damage output is absolutely high, especially when the gauge is active, as he then does get an additional Frenzy +1 and 100% Berserker. But because he is a gauge character, it reduces the strong attack cooldown when the gauge activates, and then in between each wave, there's like a 2-second cooldown, so you're able to spam your strong attacks a lot more often. So with that in mind, we are using a fortification pill, a T-set, and also a Misanga, and then with that, we're just going with a mixture of recharge, strong attack damage, and also full stamina. Although with that said, I might actually want to change my links, because I did recently get Uryu max transcended. Not really max transcended, but he is going to give a decent amount of SP, a tad bit less here, but let's go with this instead. From the links alone, I'm getting 1,725 SP, which honestly is pretty good. Overall, an additional 4,646 SP. For those that are wondering, again, only level 10 SP, with full stamina and of course also SP as bonus abilities. Then we are going to be using Jushiro. He is strictly here, just like Shuhei for the Mind Ichin teams. Is because by having this character in my team, I am getting 20% more strong attack damage on Ichibei in particular, and then we are also getting 40% more damage to enemies that are inflicted with his status augment. So this ultimately is going to allow my Ichibei to hit significantly harder, and then at the same time, we are using Yamamoto as a secondary DPS character. He's there to kind of trap the enemies in place, sometimes inflict status augments, but more so do a bit of extra damage in the case where maybe I use all my strong attacks and the enemy has a sliver amount of HP left, and instead of having to wait for my strong attacks to recover, Yamamoto might be able to force us into that next wave. So he's really stuck here just to save his extra seconds, and in Nightmare, all those seconds do matter. So in his case, this is the build that we are using, basically the standard stuff, same exact links, recharge, full stamina, strong attack damage, more strong attack damage at full stamina. For his bonus abilities, the stamina and defense doesn't matter here. I didn't want to remove them, but essentially he only has level 10 focus and basically level 10 SP, so for the most part he is performing like a special level 2 character. With that though, we give him full stamina and also SP. Let's jump into the quest. Alright then, so jumping into the quest, what we are going to do is instantly use our never mind, forget what I was about to say. We're going to use our SA 1 and 2, and then use our SA3 when the gauge does activate, right? And as you can see there, we did a lot of damage, a lot of really good damage too. We're going to then use our SA3 on Bambietta, and once more, if we do apply a status element like that, for example, we are clearing very fast here. Wow. We actually are able to, clear her in particular really fast. Now, I guess with Ichibei, he is really RNG dependent, whether you clear really fast or just fast in general. But using your summon on wave 3 is definitely the best thing to do, as you do want to kind of activate the gauge right away, right? So there we go. Let's use our 3 into the 1 and then follow up with the 2. That means going into Candice, we can then use our SA3. Getting really lucky on these status procs. This is actually kind of insane. Use our Nortex whenever we can. Getting back all the way up. Again, we actually are now... No, hold on. We're not immune to weakening anymore. Might as well activate the gauge with the SA3. That means going into Uryu, the SA3 will be back. There we go. And at this point, we have 20 seconds to spend. All we have to do really is just inflict status ailments. If we do, we're absolutely chilling. As long as we don't take damage, we beat this, right? Get no attacks when we can. It's definitely going to come down to the last seconds. There we go. SA3 activates the gauge. And then there we go. We beat Uryu with 7 seconds to spare. And this is the team that I have been using, or the team that I used to beat the Nightmare difficult quest without Grimmjow, or without having Ichin. Again, it's tough. It actually is very tough. I think we got kind of lucky there with the status procs. Having someone like Yamamoto max transcended, of course, makes this significantly easier. His damage is definitely noteworthy here. And then likewise, even having the focus slot on someone like Ichibe also does help out heavily, right? One annoying thing with this team that I had noticed when doing these runs, especially yesterday on stream, it is a bit tough in the sense that you can get hit and then the run's kind of dead, right? You know, if we were using someone like Grimmjow instead of Jushiro, for example, then we could have put Orihime in our team instead of Yamamoto. And that would have given us the protection. Because sometimes I notice when playing, Yamamoto doesn't use his Vortex, and then I'm kind of open for an attack, take a hit, and I have to reset the run. But one good thing I did notice, at least with Ichibe, that I kind of appreciate right now, as I have been doing multiple runs with, you know, multiple characters with an SP boost, it's always awkward. Especially like every good character in this game right now does have an SP boost where they get that by inflicting a status ailment. It's nice to have someone like Ichibe where he doesn't get the spiritual pressure boost from inflicting a status ailment. He gets it from the gauge. So there's no like RNG on whether I get the SP boost or Yamamoto gets the SP boost, right? I've used teams where there are 2-3 characters all constantly fighting, ruining my damage almost because someone else inflicted a status ailment instead of my main character. You know, if Yamamoto does inflict a status ailment, weakening and also burn, I can take advantage of the weakening for the first 2 seconds, but at the same time, if I don't, I mean, the weakening is still allowing me to do 40% more damage in general, so it's still actually really good, and that's why I kind of like Ichibe having that SP boost tied behind the gauge. Which again, as you saw there, we activated the gauge, what, 3 times? Maybe 4? The gauge was active for the most part, majority of the quest. But that was basically the team that, honestly, the only team that I could actually use to beat this quest, other than, again, using someone like Ichin. If I had someone like Grimmjow, I could experiment with other teams. I would use Yamamoto as a main, Grimmjow as a side, Orihime as your team booster. I would try Lisa again. But every other team, at least for me, has been failing besides this team right here. But with that said, that's it for my main account. Let's hop over to the second account now, where fortunately I did recently pull Ichin, and we can see how he performs in the Nightmare Guild quest. Shocker, spoiler alert, it's honestly very, very good. So next up, it's time to try out Ichin in the Nightmare Guild quest, and the best part about Ichin is that we don't have to use any other character. So understand, if a character like this by himself can beat it, any other character you want to bring with Ichin, it makes the team better, right? If you want to put Ichin, Grimmjow, and a team booster, or if you want to use Yamamoto with him, or if you want to use Lisa and also Academy Shuhei to give Ichin more damage, you can do that, and you're very likely to clear the quest, because Ichin by himself alone is enough to beat Nightmare Guild quest, which we are about to demonstrate. Although it might take me a while to get the run, because it is a bit RNG dependent. You'll see when we actually jump into the run. So first and foremost, these are the 3 accessories that we are using, just the standard stuff, right? Likewise with the links, good links overall. SP stats that we can get from these characters are important. We need as much SP as possible since we are only using 1 character. Overall, we have an additional 4,000 SP. The character itself is naturally special level 1, so SP level 10, with full stamina and damage to lash rated enemies as a bonus ability. This one's very important, we need it, we need that extra damage. Again, it is going to come down to the last second, so with that said, let's jump into the run. Alright then, so with that said, let's see how this does go, right? So instantly, I'm going to use my Vortex on Ryukin, because of course we do want to apply an SP boost, right? But most importantly, we want to apply the last ray on Ryukin, right? If we can do that, we're absolutely golden. So I always like to use my SA2 and then follow that up with another attack. In this case, we're going to have to wait a bit, but activating the SP boost shouldn't be much of an issue because every wave there is going to be a heart character, right? And we're pretty much guaranteed to apply status ailments. Now we are getting lucky here. Now we are getting lucky there. We actually are relatively applying status ailments pretty quick. As you can see that we did it again. Okay, that's actually really, really good. Now in this case, this is where it can become a bit sticky because we don't really want to apply status ailment right now while we have the SP boost active, right? Because if we did, it would kind of waste our damage a bit. So we actually got lucky there. Once more, apply the status ailment. Not too bad. Let's use our SA3 and then follow up with the 2. There we go. Now, in this case, we can't follow up with a strong attack right away, but now we can use our Soul Bomb. Then use our SA1 into the 2. Use our 3 there. Then a 1. And now we have 8 seconds to spare. But can we actually beat this with 8 seconds? Let's find out. SA1 into the 2. Got a Stars on my proc. Can we do it? It's going to come down to the last second. Unfortunately not. We'll try that once more though, right? So you see here, it is a bit RNG dependent when trying to beat this quest with Ichin by himself. For our first attempt, though, we were able to get into the final boss. So it wasn't too bad. But let's try that once more. Alright then, so jumping into our second run. Let's go ahead and use our SA2. Again, getting the SP boost is not really an issue. It's all about inflicting it on Ryukin. In this case, I think we actually got lucky. So that works out in our favor. Let's use our SA2 and hopefully reapply the Stars and boost. Actually does seem like we need to. Although, that enemy might actually reapply it. I'm actually not too sure. We got it there, though. Didn't get it on Bambietta, so I kind of wasted the SA3 there. Usually, I like to save the SA3 after using the Vortex, which looks like it worked actually in our favor as we did apply an SP boost. Or a Stars to get the SP boost like we did just there. So again, in this case, I could use the SA3. I didn't actually inflict a Stars, but that's fine. Now, this is where we could potentially ruin the run. Maybe, I'm not too sure. We inflicted a Stars, potentially going well. Let's see how it does go. SA2, can we get a Stars proc? If we can, we're golden. Doesn't look like it, even after using 4 attacks there. Run is dead, unfortunately. Most of the runs here do actually down Iban, because the 4th boss shouldn't be that much of an issue, right? We can use our Soul Bomb, we apply the weakened defense, we have the weaken, we can take full advantage of this. As you can see there, we can clear very, very fast on Candice. And then again, the final boss, we only need like maybe 10 seconds to spare, right? We only need like 10 seconds, but it's Iban. Iban right now is the biggest opponent for us because 4th boss would usually be the biggest problem, but since we are using our Soul Bomb, Iban right now is the enemy with the most amount of HP, where we don't clear in like under 10 seconds. So let's try that once more. All right then, so attempt number 3, right? Again, similar strategy. Let's use our SA2. We apply Stars, that's not much of an issue, but did we get it on Ryukin? Seems like we did. That's going quite well then. Let's back up, use our SA2. Good damage from here. SA1, can we get an SP boost right before the boss goes into the next stage? Looks like we can. That's not too bad, because then we can use our SA2 here. Again, hopefully get a status proc and Bambietta. Definitely looks like we did that. Now, the SP boost is going to wear off, but so is the status proc on Bambietta, as you can see there. Kind of just perfectly timed it, right? Got another status proc. That's really good. I mean, that's best case scenario going into the next stage. Let's use our SA2. We actually got a status proc. Okay, that's working out. It's working out. By the time the SP boost wears off, we should get the lacerate to wear off too. Got it again. This might be the run, boys. This might be the run. Because now we get to use our Soul Bomb. There we go. SA3. Look at the damage on that. Insane. Absolutely insane. We have 14 seconds to go. And we are up against an early use, so that's not going to be too hard, right? Unless we somehow mess up the run. We could actually mess up here because the SP boost wore off, right? So maybe wait for the SA3. Look at that. SA1. There we go. There we go. Not too many attempts. We finally beat it. This is actually the first time I'm beating it, by the way, on this account, right? But you can beat Nightmare Guild Quest with a new character at 1 out of 5. That is absolutely insane. To my knowledge, he might be the only character in the game to do this. Might be the only character in the game to do this, because I don't think anyone else can, right? We've beaten very hard with 1-5 characters by themselves. It's rare for someone to do that, but Ichin, he can beat Nightmare by himself at 1 out of 5, and it shouldn't come as a surprise, right? It really shouldn't. He's very fortunate with the kit that he does have, because even other characters that I maybe even consider better than him, in this case, for a solo run, he has everything going for him, right? He's a mind character, so he never has attribute disadvantage. Of course, his damage output is ridiculously high, right? 50% Berserker value, Frenzy +2, 120% SP boost with the weakened defense, and of course, also Rampage. He has a lot going for him. But then the status elements are also really good here, because Lacerate does allow you to do 40% more damage to status afflicted enemies if you have that as a bonus ability. Upon using the Soul Bomb, you have 2 seconds or so, maybe even less than that, to take advantage of the weakening, where then you do 50% more damage. But technically it's like 90% more damage, right? Because it's weakening and lacerate. This character is perfect. He's actually very, very solid. Someone said in my stream yesterday, I kind of wanted an anniversary Ichin. That was my guess for the 8th anniversary upon seeing the teaser trailer. You know, while we didn't get it, I'm not disappointed disappointed by that. I actually really do like Ichigo. We essentially got an anniversary Ichin right here. Like, this is anniversary level. In a way, he is better than White and Ichigo, right? Granted, he came out almost a whole year later, but this character is insane. Again, I don't even need to showcase any other team. Maybe we will actually. Let's try that once more. Never mind. I was going to say we don't need to, but let's just use these 3 characters. So again, this character is here to give us 20% more strong attack damage and also 40% more damage to stat afflicted enemies. And then Lisa's here. She can do damage, so it might be worth investing into her. Her 20% strong attack damage boost is to mind attribute characters. The thing with Shuhei's is that his is mind attribute Soribus. So they're different team buffs, and that means they do stack. So overall, we're getting 40% strong attack damage and 40% more damage to status afflicted enemies. Let's try that again and see if it's now easier to technically solo with Ichin. Technically, it's not a solo team. We are now using 3 characters, but they aren't here to do damage. They aren't built up. They're just here to give us more team buffs. Let's use our SA2. Look at the difference. Look at the difference that makes. 3 strong attacks. 3 strong attacks to get into the next wave. The question is, though, again, does the buff stay upon going, when they die? Maybe? Maybe? Let's use our SA. Yeah, damn. Insane. I mean, the most important one is still alive, so that's not too bad. Let's go here. SA1. SP boost, I believe, is going to wear sometime soon. Maybe not, actually. It did just that. That's fine. That's fine, because now is a perfect opportunity to use our Soul Bomb. Let's go ahead and do that. We took damage, unfortunately, so the run's kind of ruined, but maybe not. We'll see how it goes. We can definitely try this again. And I don't want to use my SA3 here. I don't want to use my SA3 here. Somehow we're keeping Shuhei alive. We'll take it. SA3 is good enough to use against Uryu, right? Look at this. Look, this is what the team buffs do, right? We went from beating in 3 attempts with like 2 seconds to spare to now beating with like 20 seconds to spare in our first attempt. And that was us taking damage too, so we lost a bit of full stamina. I definitely want to try that again, so it does go, but we were able to keep, Shuhei alive 17 seconds. That's good. That's really, really good. So let's see what the next one is looking like. Let's just use our SA1, then use the 2. Did we apply a stat summon? I think we might have just done that. Looks like we did. SA2 is going to do enough damage. No, it's not. It's fine. We're going to use the SA1 there. Now, when we do decide to use our Soul Bomb, I need to make sure I'm not getting too close to Candace, right? Because she doesn't attack straight away. That can actually hit us. So keeping our distance, then using the Soul Bomb is definitely the play here. But we are clearing so fast, man. This is absolutely insane. Looks like Shuhei is about to go down. That's no problem for me, though. There we go. So let's not get too close. Actually, we can because the Vortex is still on. SA3. Look at that. That's like 20 million damage on that SA3. SA2 into the 1. Oh my, 26 seconds. 26 seconds. Only technically using 1 character, right? And again, you can clear faster with this team. This team in particular, I've seen do 40 seconds remaining when Lisa's able to do damage, right? Because again, Lisa does have killer hits. She has a super killer. But 26 seconds remaining, basically only using 1 character with some team buffs. Ichin is an absolute beast. If you have Ichin, as already stated, it makes this quest significantly easier. He's the absolute cheat code for this week, but he's not the only cheat codes. Again, a character that I think is maybe equally as important is going to be First Battle Grimmjow, because you can beat it with Yamamoto. Maybe you need max percentage. You can beat it with Ichibe, but as you can see, with the thing that we use straight away, requires maybe 2 characters, limited characters. If you have Grimmjow, he's there to do consistent damage, and all you got to do is pair him with someone like Orihime, and then Yamamoto, Lisa, or Ichibe, and even Noitura, and you're probably going to be able to beat the quest. So if you can't beat it just now, that's fine. It definitely is going to get easier next time it does come around. Next time it does come around too, we won't have the nightmare difficulty. And of course, very hard is naturally a lot easier, right? But once Ishin's individual rolls around, you might get him there. That's where I'm planning to pull for him on my main account. And then likewise, Grimmjow is a premium character. You're bound to get him eventually, and he's going to be really good for this quest. Either way, video might have went on long enough. Only was able to showcase 2 teams today. That's all I could really do. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care, and peace.